Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you all very much for coming. It's just gone 1600 here in the UK. It's just gone 1900 in Moscow. It's 9 a.m. on the West Coast. So good afternoon, good evening, and good morning. My name's Martin, and over the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to walk you through the use of Diffusion's global event listeners and handlers. I shall introduce you the concepts, show you them working, walk you through some real life working code that I wrote. I'm going to post it on GitHub as well, also for your own use, so you can fork it and work with it and build it into your own beautiful solutions. As many of you will know by now, this webinar is part of a series, each tackling a concept that you, the developer, will likely encounter in the development of a solution. I invite you, please put your questions to me via the Q&A feature, and we'll answer them throughout the presentation. This is not a trap. I will not pressure sell you a timeshare. Right. Let's get started with some fundamental terminology so we're all thinking about the same thing. At first glance, listeners and handlers appear very similar. Once they're wired up, they both receive events which signal a change in an observed system. The clue's in the name, however. Listeners listen passively. A listener is delivered news that an event has happened, past tense, and cannot affect the source of the event. Design pattern fans will recognize this as the observer pattern. Handlers, however, can actively handle matters, and they're given the chance to decide the outcome of a change to the source. Another key difference, there may be many listeners and handlers wired up to an event, and whereas events are broadcast to all listeners, typically only one of the set of handlers is delivered at an event, typically round robin or random, but only one of the set. For example, Java's mouse listener listens for mouse events like clicks and movement, but it can't change the state of the mouse. It'd be weird if it could. Whereas Java's drag and drop transfer handler makes decisions about the drag and drop gesture, deciding what type of object can be dropped and where it can affect the system that's currently changing. Diffusion's API includes a set of handlers and listeners, and they break into two groups. There are the path-oriented and global. Diffusion uses paths to identify topics and message handlers, and thus handily wires itself into the permission system, which is also path-oriented. Whereas we're going to focus today on listeners and handlers for larger pieces of the diffusion anatomy, the topic tree and the audience. We're going to focus on the global category, so let's go to the first of those. A missing topic notification handler handles subscription requests for topics that do not exist yet. The missing topic notification handler can act on notifications, for example, by creating topics on demand that match the request or not, depending on your use case. Calling back to our video on the fundamentals of PubSub, it's important that we remember that it's okay to subscribe to a topic before it is created. A topic is not a file. So it's okay to subscribe to a topic at any length of time before it is created. Let's have a look at how it works. The missing topic notification handler, that is. Introducing our actors in this play, the subscribing client, the server, and the handling client. Firstly, the handling client registers their missing topic notification handler for some path prefix, requesting delivery of MTNs for that branch, MTNs, missing topic notifications. So long as that session has permission to do so, it will complete. Time passes, and then the subscribing client subscribes to a topic, CDN/foo. That topic doesn't exist, and the server has a handler for that branch in the topic tree, so it delivers a notification to the handling client. At this point, the handler will execute some business logic and most often create some topics. In the simplest scenario, the handler creates the missing topic, after which the server notifies the subscriber it's now subscribed to CDN/foo. From the subscriber's perspective, that topic existed all along. The server will call out your missing topic notification handler, that's quite a mouthful, your MTN handler, when the path of your topic, the topic that you are selecting, matches the selector of the MTN handler, for example, CDN, and when the selector resolves to 0 topics. Recall that we subscribe to topics with topic selectors, and while it is possible to select discrete topics using the path selector, the one that begins with an angle bracket, it is more common to select topic selections using split path, selector sets, even full path selectors. In this scenario, it means that selecting CDN / will trigger the MTN handler if there are 0 topics under CDN, and it will not, beware, it will not if there is at least 1 topic under path prefix CDN. Moving on to the listeners. Using a topic notification listener, a client can listen to changes in a selected part of the topic tree. Essentially, it subscribes the session to changes in the topic tree rather than the topics within. We select the parts of the topic tree using topic selectors, so it gains all of their expressiveness. As topics are added to and removed from the tree, if they match the selector used to create your listener, then topic notifications of selected topics are delivered to your listener. Bearing in mind that topic trees can be arbitrarily deep, if a topic is added to or removed from the topic tree directly below a selected branch, but not matching the selector, then a notification is delivered to your listener about a descendant topic. Should really call that a directly descendant topic. If you're developing a user interface and drawing a topic tree, this is useful for promoting leaf nodes to closed branch nodes by adding a disclosure triangle or similar, speaking from some experience on the matter. I used the topic notification listener in a previous webinar to populate selection boxes for topics, for example. You might find a very similar, or indeed a very different use for it. One note of caution, beware of selecting too much. If you select the entirety of a 5 million topic tree, 5 million node topic tree, expect your session to be disconnected unless you have a server-side queue that is some multiple of that number deep. This really stems from the power of the topic selector / operator. And the same is true if you subscribe to all topics in the tree with more topics than you can fit into your server-side queue. So use judiciously, test it. As I am like to say, if it's not tested, it's broken. In the previous slide, we make a distinction between selected topics and immediate descendants. Let's give you an illustration so we can really clarify the difference. Given this topic tree and this selector, the selected topics will be bar and baz, rather foo/bar and foo/baz. And the direct descendants will be quux, but not quooks, if that's how you say it, QWX. If you change the selector to $foo//, then the set of topics extends infinitely downward. And then you leave yourself open to overextending your server-side queue and getting disconnected, as we mentioned in the previous slide. Where the topic notification listener lets you subscribe to changes in the topic tree, the session properties listener lets you listen to your audience. You can be told when a session is opened, when a session is closed, when a session is disconnected, remembering that disconnection does not equate to session closure. Disconnection is a temporary thing, as they can be reconnected, or they can even be failed over. You can also be notified when a session changes their session properties, or indeed somebody changes their session properties for them. Both the size and the volatility of your audience is potentially very high, and the only filtering available on this feature is on the set of session properties that should be delivered with each event. So in most use cases, this is ideal only for back office integrations via a higher capacity connector. Have a look inside the out of the box, etc. connectors.xml for an example. And it's just XML, so you're free to create your own and bind it to an arbitrary port number that works for you. If you're looking to get metrics, if you want to measure the size and composition of your audience, then consider session metrics, which enjoy declarative simplicity. They're cluster aware, they're lightweight, and it's making the server do the hard work for you. So an ideal use case is action on connection. So subscribe Alice to some topic when she connects, for example. We'll see an example later on. However, if you just want to send a message to Alice wherever she's connected, consider using session filters on the message feature, which puts the server to work instead of tracking the audience for yourself again. Session filters are also cluster aware. We need to take a quick aside, actually, to discuss the importance of cluster awareness. I've used the term a few times, presuming that you understand exactly what I'm talking about. And it's important that you do. In short, features that address your cluster of diffusion servers as a whole are termed cluster aware. APIs that are not cluster aware address only the server to which they're connected. Thankfully, the only feature we're discussing today that is not cluster aware is the session property listener. If you want to use a cluster unaware feature across the cluster, you have to connect to each server in the cluster, which presumes you know the location of each server in the cluster. And that introduces an additional layer of configuration and complexity for you. The good news is that cluster awareness has been a requirement for new features in the engineering team for some years now. And as older features that are not so aware are replaced, their replacements will be cluster aware. The missing topic notification handler is also fan-out aware. We've not covered multi-tier fan-out architectures, but when we do, this feature works nicely with it. A popular use case for the session properties listener is what we call the concierge pattern. You won't find it in the Gang of Fours book, but it's what we call it. This is useful when you want to separate your concerns and your front-end client implementation is to remain ignorant of the topics that it's going to receive data from, or it lacks permission to select them entirely. Instead, you keep that business logic in the back end, in a single place where it can be updated with ease instead of updating thousands of smartphone apps. The client connects, maybe authenticates. News of that is delivered to your session property listener, which runs its business logic and, like your best concierge, subscribes them to the topics that they need or messages them directly or logs it or doesn't. I don't know if topic knocking is a thing, but if it was, then this is how you do it. I digress. So, for example, if you hold the appropriate permission, you can subscribe another session to topic foo with this one-liner. I'm going to show you an illustration of a missing topic notification handler. Building on the example given earlier, this one will register itself for missing topic notifications and create topics to match, this time pulling the content from a directory. Additionally, this uses a file system listener so that updates to the file are pushed through into the topic. And if that file is removed, so is the matching topic. I have a separate session property listener, and when an appropriate user connects, it will subscribe them to a topic. So enough of the slides. Let's quickly take for any questions if we have any. If you haven't any questions, good. This is all making excellent sense for you. Let's see the clients using all three of these listeners to solve a real problem next. Okay. First, let's have a look at the missing topic handler.js. Here we go. That away. let's just start at the end. Let's start with the main handler. It's about 200 lines. It's not a monster. It's well documented. It's in GitHub as well, so you can clone it and learn from it. First thing we do, because we're using async code throughout, a little bit of hack, I put all of my code, my main function, into a function called main. We execute it asynchronously here, because at the moment you can't use async await in the root of a node-based JavaScript application. All of the code here is written in JavaScript. I'm aware that's a fairly unconventional choice for a backend, and there's two reasons for that. Firstly, everybody's solution uses JavaScript somewhere, typically in the web browser. So as a lot of the solutions we're demonstrating here run inside the browser and also inside the backend, we're choosing to use one system, one programming language to address that. The second one, which is a bit flippant, but is still true, is that JavaScript is not as awful as it was in the 90s. A lot of the functional features which have come to it recently have made it a lot less dreadful than it used to be. Even enjoyable sometimes. It can also be quite terse, declarative, side effect free, all that sort of good stuff. Anyway, enough baffle gab. Let's get on to the actual code. First thing we do here is we place our session and we log some details about it. The details of this host that we're connecting to is pulled in from an external file, and by default that's like localhost. But in this circumstance, we're connecting to a server in Diffusion Cloud. And the next thing I do is I build myself something called a CDN handler. We'll come to see what that does in a moment. CDN, in this case, it means a content distribution network. It's a bit of a small one, but the concept is still there. And here we go. The first thing we do is we, with our session, add a missing topic handler. Missing topic notification handler. We can only do this because we've connected with a principal of the appropriate credentials. We've logged in here as an administrator, which in turn grants us a role, which in turn grants us a permission, which allows us to do this sort of thing. And the important bit here is this method here, this property on the object, which is on missing topic. We're delivered a notification object. We log it, and then we pass it on to the CDN handler saying, deal with it. And then we call proceed. Actually, this has the proceed method on the notification. The argument given here that's been deprecated. It's actually now a no op. It used to have special meaning, but these days it doesn't. We got some other logging in here. So when we actually register, we log that, close on error. You can you can add multiple missing topic notification handlers, and the workload is actually round robined across them. So it's important that they all do the same thing. Okay, let's have a look to see what the CDN handler does. So first of all, we've got to build a function up here. The reason that we have a builder, not just a simple constructor, is because it's asynchronous. You cannot have an asynchronous connector in JavaScript for reasonable reasons. What we do here is we call map topic path, and we'll come back to visit that shortly. But essentially, this is a means of guaranteeing that this set of strings contains a live path of the set of topics underneath a prefix, in this case, CDN. So whenever the topics there is a topic added or there is a topic removed from that part of the topic tree, this variable, topic set, reflects that, and it does it live. And the next thing it does is we call the constructor, which is a private constructor, make sure that it's called correctly. And it builds a file system watcher. Now, I can't take credit for this. I'm very impressed with it, but watcher is from a package called Chokidar that plugs itself into a feature of the Unix system call set, which is actually not very well defined. So each popular Unix and Unix alike does it differently. But for Linux and for macOS, you have effective means of subscribing to a directory or a tree of directories, such that when files are added and when files are updated and when files are removed, you can get notification of that immediately. Mostly to do things like update file browsers, but not exclusively. In this situation, we are using that to update a tree of topics. Anyway, let's get back to where we were. So that's our builder, that's our constructor, and we're wiring ourselves in here to the set of events from the file system listener so that when files are removed, that's unlink, and when files are changed, we can react appropriately. If the logic is fairly simple, if this.topics, which is that live set of topic paths, if this is a managed topic, so the one that we put there, then unset it, so remove it from the topic tree. And again, if the file has changed, so if somebody's written to the file, presumably written and closed, then, and if it is a topic that we put there, or rather, if the file that changes reflects a file that we have put into the tree ourselves, then we log it and then we update it again. Set topic being used to either create or to set topics. Actually, let's have a look at that briefly. There's the code there. It's the topic path. Well, path here has two meanings. It is both the topic path, it's also the file path. So we grab the file, admittedly a bit lazily, we're using read file sync. If this was a proper thing, I'd use an async instead. And then with this one-liner, well, it's one liner spread over 5 lines, we then update the topic. That's the path, that's the type. We're just using JSON for everything here. In this case, we're being lazy. There's the content that we grabbed from the file, and there's the default topic spec. And then we add that topic to the tree. I'm just going to take a quick aside and have a look at default topic spec, because there's a little bit of magic in here, which will be important later on. This is a topic specification. You can see that new default topics specification. It's a JSON topic, but then these are the set of properties, and reminding ourselves that the set of keys is an enumeration. It's a constant enumeration of strings. We can't set arbitrary properties, but this is one of the predefined properties we can set. This is removal, and this ties into something called automatic topic removal. And there's a little grammar associated with this, a little DSL associated with this thing. So we can say that this topic is to be removed automatically by the server when the set of subscriptions drops to less than 1 for 1 minute or more. And then the server will remove it for us. I'll go into a little bit more detail here, but this is automatic topic removal. It's not really related to listeners or handlers, but it's so useful, I couldn't not mention it. Okay. So that's set topic path, and then unset topic path, which is very, very simple. If the file is removed, then so is the topic. Simple as that. Let's go back to where we were. Right. I'm going to fire this thing up. But before we do, briefly, I just want to have a look at, so we've got one of the 3 of the trio of listeners and handlers, the missing topic notification handler. We're going to have a look now in the same script, a topic notification listener. And this is it here. So map to topic path. This does the magic so that you can say everything that's in that part of the tree, I want to see it in this set of strings here, and I want the 2 to be in sync all the time. As we can see, there's not very much to it. Fits on a single page. That's about 50 lines of code. This is the real magic here. So build ourselves a topic notification listener, and it has on it a property on topic notification, and 3 others as well. But this is where the real meat of the business logic happens. And it will tell us when topics are added or when topics are removed or when they're selected or deselected. The difference is being subtle but important. So if a topic is added, that makes sense, or removed, again, that makes sense. And in both circumstances, it either adds or removes the path from the live set of strings that it returns, and then continues to update. Selected means that when this object was begun, that this set of this topic was already there. And selected in turn, also deselected means the same. And on descendant notification, this one is actually choosing to do nothing quite deliberately. It's I don't care about the descendant topics. I don't want to know about them. Your business logic, your requirements may differ. And then it then calls session notification add listener. It will await that. And once it's registered, we then call select. So first of all, we plug it in and say, I've got a listener. And then we tell the server, and I want to listen to that part of the topic tree over there. And that's it. Okay, let's turn the handle and actually see this thing working. There we go. Right. I should really tidy up from last time. Right. So this is my missing topic notification handler. As you can see, I've tested it out beforehand, so we know that it's going to work. But it takes, begging your pardon, session property listener. Huh. Let's start that up. Okay. So that will connect to the server, gets itself a session, and it watches for missing topics that appear underneath or subscriptions to topics underneath CDN. And then a little bit of logging. So we've got two discrete parts here, the topic notification listener and the missing topic handler. And they're working independently. And there's a good reason for that. You might think that if the missing topic notification handler fills the gaps, it actually creates the topics that are missing. It should know who's there. But the data structure that's being manipulated is the topic tree. Everybody has access to the topic tree. The topics could exist already. A topic that is created by the missing topic notification handler could then be removed by somebody else, or it could be removed and recreated. So the missing topic notification handler, the only way it will know accurately what's in the space that it's monitoring is by also using a missing topic handler, a topic notification handler. So if somebody else creates it, it's aware of it. So what we do here is we avoid racy code. Now, enough talk. Let's actually subscribe to a topic and make sure that that topic doesn't exist already. There we go. There's no CDN tree in there. Let's just boost it up a bit. This is a little command line subscribing client. All it takes as an argument is the topic that it wants to subscribe to. I just hit done. And like that, it's got a topic which didn't exist. We can see that the missing topic handler sprang into life there. It got notification that somebody has subscribed to a topic cdn/foo.json, and that's the selector that they were using, and that's the name of the session. And this is how it's reacted. It's actually gone into the directory, it's grabbed the file, and it's created the topic of the same name with the content from the file. Let's be clever now. What we're going to do now, just to prove that this is live, we're going to change the content of that. Here are the files. So here's foo.json. It's just a bit of JSON. In fact, we can see the same thing here. There we go. CDN foo.json. It's a live topic, got real stuff in it. Let's go over here. So this is a file. I'm going to change the spelling a little bit and save it. Nip over here. And there we go. In fact, if we subscribe to that, in fact, somebody is subscribed to it, I beg your pardon. This guy over here is subscribed to it. If we could fit these two on the same page, we'd see that the that property was changed immediately. Let's just make sure that, see what happens if I delete this thing. So I delete the topic. It's gone. Yeah, and the script has been made aware. The topic notification listener has told it this topic that you care about in this branch has been removed, which means that the next time that somebody subscribes to it, and indeed the subscriber has also logged it in red, the topic was removed. So let's subscribe again, and it comes back to life. Does exactly what we want it to. Its topic's back. There we go. And it's got the content in it that we care about. Okay. In fact, let's go one further. Let's move or remove CDN foo to the local directory. So we've moved it out of the directory, out of the managed directory. There we go, like that. So I removed a file from my local file system. Notification of that was sent up to the cloud. That a topic was removed. The subscriber to that topic was told immediately, and the topic was removed. There we go. Cool. So that's working. That's working nicely. Right. The next one I'm going to show you is the session property listener, which we've referred to as the concierge. Here we go. Just walk you through the code. There's not much to it. There's even less than was last time because there's only one moving part. Import Diffusion from Diffusion. We import the logging module, which is quite nice. Load in the configuration. Let's just close that up. We've got the same pattern as before. We've got an async main, so we can call async code inside the main function. Get ourselves a root logger, place ourselves our Diffusion connection, log that we're connected, and then let me call session clients set session property listener. And there's only two arguments here. First of all, it's the set of properties that we care about. That won't filter the number of events delivered to us, but it will constrain the size of the events, bearing in mind that your sessions could have an unlimited number of session properties on them. It's certainly got a number of static session properties, but we don't know how many user-defined session properties you have defined in that. But if all you care about is $principal and $roles, then specify that, and it means that the events will get smaller. It'll make life easier for everybody else. And the second part is the concierge object, which in this case implements session properties listener. And it does that by implementing these methods on active, on session open, on session event, on session close, on error. These really describe the life cycle of the listener. What is more interesting is on session open, on session event, and on session close, which describes the life cycle of other people's sessions. And the one that we're listening to and actually doing anything about is when a session is opened, because this concierge, when it's constructed, is given the name of a role when somebody connects, or excuse me, when somebody holding a particular secure role connects, could be any principal. What we care about is their role, a set of topics to subscribe them to. And in fact, what we're doing here is we're saying when somebody that holds the trader role authenticates, connects, and authenticates, then connect them directly or subscribe them directly to CDN Trader News. So the way we do that, first of all, if we don't have role string and we don't have the principal, we carry on because this is not an event for us. We get the set of roles. There's a convenience function on the diffusion object called string to roles. It's given to us as a comma delimited string, but so that we don't have to roll the code ourselves, we use diffusion string to roles. That'll give us an array, which we stick into a set. So we can use easy set maths and find out, is the set of roles contain this roles? Because if it does, then subscribe them to this. And we have to use dot then here because this is a method. And as far as I know, and I may be wrong here, but I can't change this to an asynchronous method without breaking the, without upsetting the TypeScript compiler. I should have said we're using TypeScript here, which is just a typed superset of JavaScript. It does make life nicer, simpler, more predictable, but essentially it compiles down to JavaScript and runs inside Node. So in this case, yeah, if somebody holding the trader role authenticates, then let's give them this thing here. So let's turn the key on this, let's run it and see what happens. Okay. So we've got a bunch of sessions logged in with admin, my admin. They've got that set of roles. Not interested in them. Let's see if I can get these two on the same page. So we can see cause and effect happening at the same time. Okay. Let's bring my browser over here. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to log into the console as a different user. Let's make things a little bit smaller. There is a trader. There is a principal holding the trader role on this box called TED. And there we go. We saw the missing topic notification handler. So we saw both of these scripts react simultaneously, but importantly, session opened, the principal TED roles trader, subscribed TED at session ID to CDN Trader News. Now, we haven't actually seen very much over here, but if we go to the subscriptions tab, there it is. We've been subscribed. We never did anything. We just logged in, and there is the topic that we've been subscribed to automatically. And if we change that, let's go into the file, Trader News. Good morning, traders. Save that. There we go. It's there straight away, although we haven't got the two on the same screen at the same time yet. Let's try it. Yeah, there we go. Good morning, traders. A very good morning, traders. Save the file. Wallop. There you go. Within the same second, within the blink of an eye. Okay, so that's the code working. That's the code demonstrated. Let's get back to the slides because there's one piece of bonus content that we need to go over, and that is automatic topic removal. This is bonus content. This is really good stuff. It's neither a listener or a handler, but it works so well when you combine it with missing topic notification handlers, or indeed any scenario when you don't want the hassle of remembering when to remove a topic, or doing something so blunt as turning the whole box off and on again if you're not using persistence. Then automatic topic removal will make your life simpler. It's not free, but it's a lot simpler. It's a lot less expensive than tracking it yourself if you're tell the server what to do and how to do it. So using ATR, as it's more often known, you can specify the conditions under which a topic and or other topics, so you can address whole branches of your topic tree if they logically form a whole and should be, if they're added and should be removed at the same time. Whether they'll how they'll be removed automatically by the server. It gives you the freedom to push as many topics as you need into the topic tree without the worry of removing them, so you don't run out of memory. It's done when you create the topic and you give it the topic property removal. Let's have a look at some examples. For example, remove this topic after this time, or remove this topic if no one has subscribed to it for 5 minutes. Not a very popular topic. Why are we spending the memory on it? Or if it's not been updated for an hour, or if the session that creates it terminates. We're just scratching the surface here. Have a look at the documentation and examples for more detail. If there was a diffusion feature that I wish more people used, it would be this one. This and Java flight recordings, but that's not a diffusion feature, but I wish more people would use it. But I move on. Okay. Right. Let's take for questions. What have we got on the question front? Let me pull up my Q&A feature. Don't hold back. I'm not going to sell you a timeshare. Okay, I've got one question here from Joe. Yeah, if I have a topic tree that's too wide or big enough to prevent the use of the topic notification listener, what do I use instead? You got a couple of options there. If it's too deep, then don't use an all-encompassing topic selector. Don't use something that ends with // Be more discriminating. But if your topic tree is too wide, if you've got thousands of topics in one branch, then I mean that in itself is a bit of a smell, and that's a design smell that possibly you need to address. A little bit of structure in there would help. Not just this, but also topic selection costs as well. But if still it's a problem, then something that I've not discussed yet in any of these is a feature called fetch. Fetch is does what it says on the tin. You can fetch topics, topic specifications, and topic content, and all accepting the path. Everything else is optional. So you can use fetch to fetch the topic and its topic path and topic content, which makes sense, and its specification, which makes sense. But you can also say, well, I just want to enumerate the topics in a particular branch. And that has no problems because it's paginated. You can say, just give me 100 at a time or 1,000 at a time. And if there are more, then just give me the next page and give me the next page and give me the next page. And if you're driving a user interface, that's ideal. So, and also it gets around the problem of being a glutton for your content. So it's more recent, and it can be used to address other features as well, other business needs. Got a question from Ellis. Cool. Where do authenticators fit into the picture? Good. Okay, somebody's been reading the manual. So yes, authenticators are a handler. And they actually satisfy all of the requirements we need for a handler. I haven't discussed them in this one. They are strictly a handler because you can connect to they address the system as a whole. They take authentication requests. They often don't pop up on people's radars because they don't end in handler. This edition of the interface doesn't end in handler. The previous edition was called an authentication handler. But this interface is somewhat more powerful, and so it's simply called an authenticator. They are handlers, but I didn't go into them in any detail because the previous webinar was all about authentication, and I figured you all would know everything about that. So yeah, it's worth saying that they're there, but I'm not going to tell you all about them again. Check them out in the existing webinar material on YouTube, which you all should be subscribed to. It's full of good stuff and references lots of decent code. Okay, do we have any more other questions? Nope. Okay, good. So, right, I'm going to say that's a wrap for today. Thank you all very much for coming, in which we covered Diffusion authentication and security features, how it's layered throughout the product, how you can weave them into your own solution. You can also clone all of my code from this address. There we go. And to save your eyeballs, I'm going to put that into the chat window as well. I'm also going to put it into the video description on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel. Click the bell to get notification when the next video is published. However, thank you all very much for coming, and be sure to come back next month. Thank you.